Hello everyone, Milton Miles on the Spliz here. So I got a recommendation on one of my videos just recently. It was an older video, but the recommendation said make more commentary videos, and this was on my why would the United States Army or military replace the A-10 with the F-35. Go watch that video if you want, and you can look in the comment section. That's where we found it. But yeah, this is a commentary video. I decided I was going to make one, and I had a really good topic I really wanted to talk about. Why are German transmissions so bad, but their tanks were so excellent? Well, we'll get into that right now. First tank we're going at right now is the Tiger. Good armor, good tracks, decent engine, good gun, and a lot of more futuristic capabilities. But you know what the thing is? Bad transmission. Bad transmission. That's why in World War II there was so much abandoned German tanks. Transmission failures or either engine failures. German engines and German transmissions weren't very good at all. Now here's the question. If they could create such an advanced design, why couldn't they make such advanced transmissions for the design? That's the topic today, and that's what I want to talk about. And I want to find out why the Germans were so bad at making transmissions. Well, here's one reason. The tanks they made were simply too heavy for the transmissions they had at the time. So, they couldn't really get a good transmission on a super heavy tank like the Tiger. And no, I'm not saying it's a super heavy tank. I'm saying it's literally super heavy. I don't know the exact weight, but I know it's a couple tons. More than a couple tons. But yeah. Good armor, good gun, and bad transmission. Okay, let's look at the Panther. The Panther was excellent. In fact, the Panther is actually my favorite tank, if you guys didn't know that. Well, great frontal armor. And the Germans, they learned from their mistakes with the Tiger to make a flat frontal armor because it doesn't increase ricochet and it's really easy to penetrate. And they fixed that and they made it really sloped. And they made the armor really thick and sloped. So basically almost impossible to penetrate through the front. Good armor around the turret. Just good armor in general. Great 76mm gun, I believe. Yeah, I think it's 76. 76-75. Great gun. Great tracks. And when it did have a good engine, good mobility. But sadly, the transmissions are horrible. The transmissions are horrible. And this tank was made to be a medium tank. Originally was made to be a heavy, but now was changed in World War II by the Germans to a medium. And it's so heavy that, same with the Tiger, the transmissions cannot handle them. And it's so weird because the Germans were just so advanced. Why couldn't they make a nice combo just like this T-34 I have here? See, why couldn't Germans make a design like this? Let's look at the T-34. Good gun, great armor, great transmissions, and good engine. not so good tracks. Tracks could be better. They get stuck a lot in the mud. But, you know, you gotta have one downfall of such a good tank. But this is my German-occupied T-34. It's basically the same as, it's basically the standard T-34-85, but just with German decals. But it's still the same tank, so it doesn't matter. Side armor was great. Frontal armor was great. Turret armor was great, but there's a downfall since it didn't have a mantlet. Heavier tanks like the Panther and Tiger could penetrate right there. Right through the front. Right there. Right through the front. And yeah, why couldn't they make a decent tank like the T-34 at the time? You know, I think they should have mass-produced the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV was an excellent tank. Good engine, good transmission. Armor could be better, but it's still decent armor for a medium tank. And good gun. Yeah, the Germans did make a design like that, but the T-34 never really showed its age in World War II. The Panzer IV started to show its age against the T-34s. And that's a problem. When you build a tank, you want it to last as long as possible and not show much age against your enemies if you're in a war. But the T-34 was so good, they just kept using it. And a bunch of other countries wanted to get their hands on this tank. And that's why Germany just started capturing T-34s and KV-1s and KV-2s that were on the Eastern Front. They started capturing all these Soviet tanks because they were so good. At some points, there are accounts where they stole transmissions from T-34s to replace for their Panthers and Tigers, but those didn't work out because the T-34 transmissions, they're a little too small for big tanks like the Panther and the Tiger. But yeah, that's why. But I think they couldn't make decent transmissions because their tanks were too heavy and they were too big. And that's why they fell so badly. Their transmissions, tanks need mobility. And that was the downfall of these big German super creation tanks. Like the Maus, that would have never succeeded. If they couldn't make a transmission for a Panther and a Tiger, what in the world are they thinking they're going to make a transmission for that Maus? If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment. What do you think about this idea?